Good morning. Now, today we are going to discuss another system called which is called pipe system code. See, this is for creating a unidirectional pipe in the kernel. This is a pipe, and this is in the kernel of the Linux operating system. That means here this is an one-way pipe means here this is the right end. That means some process is writing to this process. That means for inter-process communication. That means if you have two processes, say P1 and P2, this is process P1 and this is process P2. These two are independent processes. And suppose that if this process wants to send something to P2, then you can use this tunnel or use this pipe for inter-process communication. You can send some information from P1 to P2. Or if you want to send another information from P to P1, then you can use another pipe. So pipe is a unidirectional entity, and pipe is a FIFO structure. It is just like a queue. FIFO, that means first in, first out. Or you can write from one end and you can read from the other end. This is the read end of the pipe. Read end of the pipe. And this pipe system code, here you have an int fd of 2. That means this is the signature. That means this will return an integer value. And integer pipe int fd2 means you have to pass a two integer array. That means an integer array having two elements to this pipe system code. On successful completion of this pipe, it will create a pipe. That means after this pipe will, suppose that I have, this is the method signature, and in the program I am going to have int fd of 2. Okay, that means I am going to have an array which is having two integers. Okay, then I am going to call pipe fd. That means if this is successfully created, then a pipe which is fd, it is not fd, nothing, no name is given to that file, but this is fd and this is fd of 0 and this is fd of 1. Okay, so fd of 0 is having this, that means after this pipe system code is executed, now this fd of 0 and fd of 1, that means two element integer array, and the first location is having, here it is having file descriptor of read end of pipe. That means here this is the read end and this is the write end. So read end of the file is, read end of this pipe is having a file descriptor, and write end of the pipe is having another file descriptor. Now this read end is fd of 0. Now once that pipe is created using this pipe system code, it is having a read end as well as a write end. This is the right end of the pipe. It is this process P1 is writing to this pipe and P2 is reading from the pipe. That means this is a pipe which is used for inter-process communication, and once it is created, it has a write end as well as a read end. Now using this pipe system code, we have created a pipe, and fd of 0 is pointing to the read end and fd of 1 is pointing to the write end. This is fd of 1. This is having file descriptor pointing to of right end. File descriptor of the right end is here. whereas file descriptor of the reader is here. That is the pipe system call. That means once it is there, suppose that if you want to write something using write system call is there. Here what you are going to do is fd of 1 comma, then suppose that something is there in the buffer. From the buffer you are going to read something and you are going to write adjacent, then this is size of buffer. When you are doing programming exercises and if you go through the manual, you better understand these things. That means using write, if you are writing to this fd1, that means file descriptor 1, that means you have a pipe and the write it is pointing to this. Using write system call. Write system call is for writing, and using this, once you are using this file handle, that will automatically return onto that pipe. Okay, that is written onto that pipe and that is pointed to by buffer. Suppose that some string is there in that buffer and that is having say size 10, size of buffer. And using this write, you are writing something, and suppose that if you want to read that from here, you can have a read fd of 0 by here file descriptor 0 is pointing to the reader. fd of 0, then buffer size of buffer. Here in this case, what will happen? This much size of bytes will be read from the pipe and that will be stored in the buffer. Here in this case, it is reading from this buffer and that will be pushed on or that will be written to the pipe. And reading and writing, and that's all about pipe system call. Okay.